All right, today we're getting into something that's, well, it's one of the biggest paradoxes in AI. Why is it that our most powerful models can also be so unreliable? We're not talking about making AI bigger or smarter. No, we're talking about a whole new science of making it obedient.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty intense thought experiment. Just imagine an autonomous swarm of AI drones. They're all operating on their own, and then suddenly, they forget their single most important rule of engagement. The consequences would be, well, catastrophic. And preventing that exact catastrophe is what this is all about.
Okay, so Section 1, AI's forgetting problem. It turns out that even the most advanced AIs have this kind of hidden flaw. And it's not about their intelligence or even how much they can remember. It's that over time, in a long conversation, they can simply forget their own rules.
And this problem actually has a name. It's called logic drift. It's this weird degradation of rules and intent as an AI session goes on and on. And here's the wild part. It happens even with these huge context windows, the ones that can hold entire books. The AI can literally see the rule, but its importance just fades into the background. And here's what that looks like in the real world. On the left, you've got a crystal clear, non-negotiable rule given right at the start. No loans for credit scores under 680. Simple. But look at the right. 20 turns later, after chewing on more and more data, the AI develops a kind of amnesia. It makes up this idea of a holistic review and just flat out breaks the original unbreakable rule.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. It's not a failure of memory. The AI didn't forget the rule existed. The failure is one of coherence. That core instruction lost its special status. It just became one more piece of data to be weighed, and it got easily outweighed and ignored.
Which brings us to Section 2, a new philosophy, constraint engineering. See, to solve a problem like logic drift, we need a whole new way of thinking. We have to make a huge shift, from just suggesting rules to actually enforcing them. That's the core idea here.
And this slide just nails the paradigm shift. The old way, prompt engineering, is totally passive. You're basically just asking the AI, hey, please remember these rules, and then you just hope for the best. But constraint engineering, that's active. It's about building a gatekeeper that verifies every single action against the rules. It's a system of validation, not just suggestion. I love this quote because it sums up the entire mindset shift perfectly. We have to accept that AI models are fundamentally probabilistic. They think in terms of probably and maybe, not always and never. So instead of trying to perfect this uncertain brain, we build a deterministic, foolproof safety cage around it. So that brings us to Section 3, the Master Constraint Block. You're probably thinking, okay, a safety cage sounds cool, but what is it? Actually, how does it work? Well, the central innovation, the very core of this cage, is something called the Master Constraint Block. The big breakthrough here isn't trying to change the AI's fundamental nature, trying to fix its probabilistic core. That's a losing battle. Instead, the real solution is to build that external safety cage, a system of rules that is permanent, unchangeable, and completely immune to the AI's logic drift. And that safety cage is the Master Constraint Block, or MCB for short. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as a digital constitution for the AI. It's a container of rules that lives completely outside the AI's own memory, so it can't be edited, it can't be ignored, and it can't be forgotten. Okay, Section 4, governing a swarm. Let's really see this thing in action. We're going to go back to our drone swarm for a high-stakes demonstration of exactly how this all works. So with a swarm, the architecture is called one mind, many bodies. As you can see here, a human commander sets the mission rules just one time. Those rules get encoded into the Master Constraint Block, and then a read-only copy is distributed to every single drone. It's like installing a permanent governance chip that guarantees that even a drone that loses all contact with base will still follow its original orders. So let's follow the decision loop for just one agent. Let's call it X7. Step 1, it perceives an unknown entity. Step 2, its AI brain starts reasoning and suggests engaging. But, and this is the magic part, before any action is taken, we hit Step 3, validation. The local constraint block checks the unchangeable rules. Is there incoming fire? Nope. Is there human authorization? No. So in Step 4, it enforces the rule and returns block execution. The result in Step 5 is that Agent X7 holds its fire and logs a prevented violation.
It creates a perfect, auditable trail of what didn't happen and why.
And ultimately, that's what constraint engineering does. It's what turns a probabilistic, unpredictable mob into a deterministic, disciplined unit.
So let's wrap up with Section 5, the future of reliable AI. Because, this is so much bigger than just drones. This architecture is really the future infrastructure for any AI system where mistakes are simply not an option.
I mean, just think about the applications. You could build autonomous companies where a CEO agent sets the business rules and a swarm of worker agents go out and execute them without ever violating something like a discount limit. You can guarantee mission assurance and defense. And you could build an AI for finance or healthcare that can be mathematically proven to never violate complex laws like GDPR or HIPAA.
It all comes down to this one final powerful idea. Prompting is for chatting, but for the serious, high-stakes work of the future, where AI absolutely has to be reliable, auditable, and safe, constraints are for governing.